Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thanks for checking out the video. So hopefully, with this one, because I've done 2 Mastodon videos so far, and both of them have been hit with a copyright block. And so, for whatever reason, it seems to be, if a video gets hit by a copyright block, and I dispute it, for whatever reason, it doesn't get as much traffic as the ones that don't have the copyright blocks. I don't really know what that's about, but sure it has something to do with algorithms and all that. But anyway, so this is Mastodon Diamond in the Witch House. Somebody had commented and suggested that I take a look at this one as contrast with some of their more proggy stuff. So I'm kind of interested to see what that means and what this one entails. And yeah. So anything else? Anything important? No, I don't think so. I think we're just gonna get into it. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we'll stop it there just briefly. Yeah, totally different vibe to this one than the other 2 that I've listened to. It seems like, and I'm going to say this, and I hope you don't find it disrespectful, but it feels like it's not as refined as what was it, More Than I Can Chew and Peace and Tranquility. And again, I don't mean anything disrespectful by that, but it's the natural progression. Anytime you develop anytime you develop a skill, as long as you're continuing to develop, even if you've mastered the skill, you continue. I mean, that's why this is really why you never actually master anything. But like, as you if you're considered a master, as you continue to improve, 5 years down the road, the stuff that you are producing at that point is more refined than the stuff that you produced 5 years ago, and it's way more refined than the stuff you produced when you first started. So, it's not a knock, it just an observation. And what's interesting, I think, about when something isn't as refined is that it tends to be more laden with emotion. And so I am getting more emotion coming from this one than from and it's like unrestricted emotion, right? It's there's a term in in chemistry, believe it or not, of all places, where energy gets discharged as heat, and it's one of the reasons why like quote unquote superconductors are kind of impossible, because no matter what reaction is taking place, there's always some minute amount of energy that's being discharged as heat. And so from this, I'm getting a lot more of like that emotion that is being discharged as heat. And so it gives a different flavor to the track as a whole. And again, no disrespect, no shade. I love it. I love it. It's like, you know, I'm a Tool fan, right? And so when I go back and listen, you know, to their earlier stuff like Opiate or Undertow, right? It's definitely not as refined as 10,000 Days or Fear Inoculum, but the emotional content is so much more palpable, right, at that stage. It's like you can tell that there's something trapped in the marble, right? And they're every song, you know, every album, they chisel more and more out. You know, more and more features, you know, become refined and present. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of dug that out. That was cool. Anyway, also, what is this album art? It's trippy as shit. It's fucking cool. Anyway, we're gonna press play. Can you see there's a child standing idle by your fearlessness? Who am I to cause real self-defense? But see, and sorry, I know, just a quick stop though. This is something that is honestly unique to Mastodon. In my experience, is like those transitions are so smooth. They're so silky. And even something that's maybe a little bit older, like this track, I'm not sure exactly when this came out. I'm seeing 2014 here, but I'm not sure that that's when the track actually came out. But it was so silky. Like we're gonna go back a little bit and just like point out. Yeah, see, like, yeah, nasty. I want to make a comment because this just occurred to me, and I want to make sure I make the comment before I lose it. So I just did Ne Oblivicerus Airy, and one of the things that I talked about in that reaction was the fact that the song itself felt emotionally ambiguous, and what I meant by that was for the first 3 minutes of that song, it wasn't clear where it was going to go emotionally. You know, it wasn't clear if it was going to be angry or melancholy or, you know, joyful or exuberant. Like it wasn't clear where the song was going to go. But as the song progressed, there was this consolidation of emotion, right? And so as the song progressed, the band had to make more decisions about which way the song wanted to go. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this track, to me, from what I've heard of Mastodon from their newer stuff, feels like it's in that early stage of the Ne Oblivicerus song, where it's a little bit emotionally ambiguous, where they haven't made all of the decisions about where they want to go, or how they want to define themselves as a band. Certainly they've made a lot of decisions about where they want to go and how they want to define themselves as a band, yes, but it's clear to me that the like More Than I Can Chew was much more coming back to the word consolidated over and over again tonight, so we'll stick with that one. So so when you make a decision about what way you want to go, you have to sacrifice, you know, other things in order to pursue that goal. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're still in that emotionally ambiguous stage where you don't really know where you want to go, that's where you get a lot of this excess emotion that like gets discharged as heat, right? That's how I would describe it. And both are great. Both are fine. There's nothing wrong with being in this stage or being in the more refined stage, and as long as Mastodon continues to make music that is, what would you say, maybe an authentic representation of who they are as individuals and who they are as a band, they're going to keep going through that refining process. And so in another 10 years, you know, whatever album is released at that point is gonna make the album that's out now look like the stuff that we're listening to now, and because there's this natural progression of refinement the more you practice a craft, and you realize that you have to make decisions in order to keep moving forward, otherwise you stagnate. So I just needed to get that out. Anyway, back to the music. Mm. Yeah. Man, I gotta tell you. So what was really cool about that for me was that so in the last like 2.5 3 minutes there, they brought in the guitar, right? And it wasn't like quite a typical guitar solo, but in typical Mastodon fashion, as far as I'm aware, with with the two other songs I've heard, um, the guitar comes in towards the end of the song and it's featured, and I wouldn't consider that at the end where the guitar came in to be a solo, but in the other two tracks, it more than I could chew and peace and tranquility, it was definitely more of a solo, right? Which actually I think is really really interesting because they've had this formula right for a while now, apparently, and as they've progressed as a band, the guitar solo or the guitar feature has become more like a solo, and it's become more. And I think one of the things that I commented about was that, particularly in the more that I could chew reaction, was that the guitar solo was not overplayed. You could tell that the guitarist was skilled, but it wasn't overplayed or overbearing. It was very in context with the rest of the song. And exactly the same thing in this one. The guitar feature was not overplayed. It wasn't just a whole bunch of shredding just to shred because it was time for the guitar solo kind of thing. It was very um, neat and in context with the rest of the music. And so I think that speaks a lot to the band's self-awareness, and I think that speaks a lot to their just general music writing ability and their ability to work together and their humility as well. um, because especially if you're dealing with talented musicians who are having success, then ego is something that you hear a lot about. It can absolutely become an issue. But to be able to agree to say, well, okay, the song isn't about me, the guitarist, right? It's about the music, it's about the band, it's about what we all want to do and what we all want to say. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. Again, it was more powerful in the sense that there was more raw emotion in it. I liked it a lot. Anyway, we're almost at 20 minutes, so yeah. If you stuck around for this whole time, I appreciate you. So, if you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Drop a comment. Let me know what other Mastodon tracks you want me to take a look at. Give me some feedback. Loving the support, guys. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me for now. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have a good night. Peace.